Hello my loyal companions, welcome back to the channel. Today's video we're continuing the new map guide series, having a look at Factory today, giving you some tips on how to attack, how to defend, some strategies, some callouts and some of the best rogues for this map. If you do go on to enjoy the video or you appreciate the educational content coming out from this channel, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. For now though, let's get into it. Now, in my opinion, Factory is one of the best strategic maps in Rogue Company. I really love the way this map plays. I love the different things you can choose to do on it, the rotation routes, and the outplay potential. And I also really like that it's a utility-based map where the way you use your utility has so much more impact due to the close quarter nature of some of the gunfights and some of the angles that people see. I'm going to start this video off by going over some of the best attacking and defending rogues for you to look into if you want to have a slight advantage on this map. Starting on the attacking side, I'm going to put Glitch as a really high priority rogue for you to pick up on Factory. The reason for this is mostly because Intel rogues have a really good job at moving between A site and B site here on this map quite quietly, and with that padded steps, Glitch can do this really easily. He, unlike other Intel rogues, can also see things permanently using his little radar, so it's pretty useful. He also has the hack pressure, which on this map, when you just kind of want to get the bomb down and fall back, can be really good just to hack them so they can't throw any utility on your bomb planter. Overall, Glitch just has a really good flow on this map. The way he can move, his short range weapons do benefit him quite well. The flashbang is really good for aggressive breaching, and the hack can come in multiple different ways of use that can be really benefit on a map as close and as important for Intel as Factory. The next rogue I'm actually going to recommend is Seeker. I think Seeker is a phenomenal Intel rogue if you're looking to push aggressively quickly, whilst also covering your flank. His sticky sensors allow you to cover the highway flank really easily while you're pushing B or A, and his bow can be used in many different angles on this map that can reveal a lot of the area you're looking for. What you have to remember about Factory is there isn't a third lane. It's B site, A site, and then the mid section where you normally have a middle lane actually isn't there, it's just connected through highway. So what tends to happen is you can get information off people really easily and make decisions and repositions based off that. So Intel rogues such as Seeker are also really valuable. The last rogue that I really personally like on the attacking side is going to be Scorch. Not only is she fully designed for close range gunfights where she can excel, she also has the fire immunity and general tankiness with tenacity and headstrong that is really good for getting the bomb down. A lot of people do try and stop the bomb going down using various utility like Kestrel or Vi poisons or incendiary grenades, and Scorch has the ability to tank through almost all of this pretty comfortably, just due to the nature of what that rogue is. Therefore, Scorch is a rogue that is really valuable on the attacking side just to get that bomb down, and then you can start pulling back and finding angles to stop the inevitable retake. Speaking of retake, we're going to go on to the best defending rogues. I'm going to start off with Anvil. Anvil on Factory is almost a must in certain situations. Allowing the enemy team to get the bomb plant down, then using that shield for retake purposes is a very good strategy that has been used for a very long time on Factory. Not only does he have great survivability with his own tenacity and headstrong and the APSs that he has as part of his gadget, his weapon is pretty good in the close range gunfights, and his C4 can be really good in the closer angles. I think Anvil just generally works really well on this map, and then on the defensive side for that retake pressure, he has a lot of weight as long as he can stay alive. Another rogue who I think is really valuable here on the defensive side, if you're not picking up Anvil and instead you want to stop them planting the bomb, is actually going to be Trench. Trench, especially with the buff to his barbed wire setting now does damage, pulls a really big threat. He has a lot of APSs that he can use to stop people breaching on and trying to get the bomb down by flushing out the utility. And he has trip mines, which on Factory specifically can be hidden in loads of different corners to really pick off the enemy team. He's great at defending A and he's great at defending B wherever you want to put him. And he's just very valuable at having on the map if he's not banned, and he tends to be a pretty high priority ban on this map. Whilst I don't think his weapons are the best in the close range nature of this map, I still think he has very good viability here and is definitely worth picking up. Speaking of viability, the other rogue that I want to talk about here on the defensive side is going to be Vi herself. For a very similar reason to Trench, her zone control, her utility can stop the enemy team planting the bomb really easily, and she also has great retake pressure accompanied with an anvil to flush them back further and further and allow your team to get that bomb defense off. I think Vi is really solid. She kind of lacks up for Trench's long range nature by having her own close range nature. She just has a little bit less survivability because she doesn't have tenacity or any way of stopping getting utility out. But overall, I think Vi is a really good pickup on this map, someone you definitely want to be picking up. She's actually my go-to on this map if I'm defending. She's the one I personally go for. And I will quickly touch on bans. The two rogues who I think are most worthy to ban here on this map is actually going to be Sigrid as one of them. I think Sigrid is really annoying here on this map just because of the close range alley type nature of it. You don't want to have a shield walking at you with an entire team firing behind it. It can be kind of hard to deal with. And honestly, I would also recommend potentially banning Lancer sometimes if you're really, really nervous of the highway flank through mid. Then maybe, but any Palace Steps character can do this, so kind of up to you. Depends how much you think your team are not going to be able to adapt to that Lancer. If you're a 4-stack, probably not, probably opt for someone like Switchblade as a ban, but if you're in solo queue, sometimes getting rid of that Lancer may be your best option. Now, on screen now for you is going to be the callout graphics for this map. Again, if you want to see this in full or you want to download it for yourself, it is available in my Discord, linked in the description, so you can come and use this with your team or just have it somewhere so that you have an idea of what's going on. All the major locations are named, and of course you may call some of these slightly different, and that is absolutely fine. As long as you have a name and recognize these callouts, you will be in pretty good shape. Let's now talk about some basic strategies for attacking and defending on Factory. Now, generally on this map, B side tends to be the major focus of most people. It is definitely the more dogfighty sort of area, and can be a little bit high risk, high rewards. If you know you're better than your enemies just mechanically, gun skill, utility wise, then B is definitely the better approach. When you are attacking B, you want your rogues to be moving fast. You definitely want smoke grenades somewhere within this kit to block off a lot of these angles, and you're going to be trying to get the bomb down as soon as possible. This may involve a little bit of a utility battle of wasting their utility while also trying to flush them out with your own, but speed is your friend when attacking B. You want to be moving fast, you want to be moving decisively, and you want to be getting that bomb down again just as quickly as possible behind the default box, or if you can plant it slightly further to the right to be able to see further back. But again, if you want to see some more bomb plant locations, I do have a video going over each of the maps and their best bomb plant locations already on the channel. The biggest mistake I see when people actually plant for B is that they run too far away from the bomb and end up getting pushed further and further back, while somebody on the defending team just diffuses it when everyone's out of the fight. You kind of need to be holding angles really, really carefully when you're attacking B, so make sure you have a good setup to not get eyes off the bomb and keep someone there and keep someone watching their back. You do not want to be isolated in these close combat areas. You want to be shooting and team shooting together and holding off the enemy advance as long as possible. However, a big thing that ends up happening is that you cannot breach B, whether they have too good of a defensive setup or they're just picking you off every round that you're trying to go there, and therefore a transition to A may be needed. And that is what I tend to see a lot of, is some sort of a very, very quick rotate through highway to A to get the bomb planted. When it comes to that attack on A, you do definitely need some utility to help you. Personally, I like a smoke grenade in a cubby, and I also like one on the big door for main factory. Having smoke grenades there allows you to get a pretty simple plant off to then fall back to a white van and further and watch it nicely. If you don't think you can get that safe plant off though, you're going to need to hold the site pretty aggressively. You're going to need to be able to take a cubby, have somebody on a third person there, have some people covering main factory door, and watch each other's backs from highway as well. It's a little bit more high risk, but if you can't get the bomb down easily, you need to plant on the site and then watch it from the site itself. The same sort of idea you have if you're rotating from B to A works if you're just going A off the rip, but again, you want to be doing it all quickly. Speed is your friend on Factory, no matter what it is, whether you're going A, whether you're going B, or whether you're rotating between them through highway. You need to beat the enemies there. The defenders have a really easy rotate time, much easier than your own on attack. So you do definitely want to be making sure you're fast, maybe having some padded steps intel characters ratting around somewhere so that they can get there quieter and then hold angles. Whatever it be, you need to be moving fast and decisively on Factory. When it comes to defending, I like a 2-2 split across the two different sites. Now, Factory, again, as I said, is a very unique map because it's only two lanes. There's A site and there's B site, and that's it. There's no middle lane like we see with some others like Vice or Wynwood. So it's pretty easy to split your resources on defense, and it's why it's arguably a defender-heavy map. My recommendation is that you have one person always ratting on A site. Again, you want to be ahead of those rotations that the attacker is going to try and do. So keeping somebody on A site permanently is going to be of a massive benefit to you. Even if a lot of noise is happening over on B, you still probably want to keep them there until the bomb is planted, at which point they can jump the wall over or flank through highway and start making plays with the rest of the team for a retake. Arguably also, they could just push through highway early and pinch that angle even closer to the enemy team. Your biggest defending characters like Vi or Trench or Anvil probably want to be setting up on the B site itself, though. I think this is the main focus for most people when they attack on Factory, so having your big defenders there with survivability and some stopping the plant pressure can be really good, so this is where I'd put those sort of rogues. You can stack 3B and 1A if you want to go for that rat play, but just to be on the safe side, especially early, I do like to have one other person on A, just sitting on that jump wall, and then should they have to go over, they can jump the wall onto B site and be nice and safe with the rest of the team. Those are some really basic strategies and setups for Factory. There is a lot that goes into all of these maps, and I can't go over every single strategy possible, but these are some really good solid ones for you to get an idea of what you might be looking to do with you and your team. However, I now have 5 tips for you on this map that are going to help you maybe play it and think about it a little bit better. The first of this, as I've talked about, is that highway is key. Having control of highway, knowing what's going on through highway is of massive importance. Whether that be because you're flanking through it, whether you're rotating through it or whatever, knowing what's going on there is really, really valuable. And therefore, you should be listening for audio cues. You can listen for audio cues of people walking through it, jumping up to see angles, or even jumping from a cubby over the wall into jump wall. All of those spots can be figured out and listened to, so you want to be using that audio sense really well to figure out exactly what's going on there. And likewise, that's why padded steps can be so useful to negate that advantage. Another tip I have for you is that you should use the big framework that is above you in factory for advantage with utility. Whether this be throwing grenades by bouncing off it for some different angles or whatever, that actual block up there can be really good at getting some surprise utility kills and start pushing an advantage for you and your team. My third tip for you is a defender tip, and this is one I use quite a lot, and it's actually to off round 1 usually, or in some of the later rounds, just not every round, push aggressively on your defending side on B, push all the way up to the box there on the strikeout point, and you can often get a free kill kind of easily, kind of like comfortably. So I would recommend you doing it every once in a while to try and lure the enemies off guard. Another defender tip I have for you is to use the enemy team's heaven for your advantage. Now, there's not many flank routes you can do here on factory, but one that really, really does trip people up is by rushing through A on your defensive side, going all the way back into their spawn through their main factory and popping up and jumping up on heaven. You can see exactly where the enemy team are if they're pushing B from that, and you can get some really good pot shots, especially if you've brought a longer range weapon to that fight. Heaven flanks can be detrimental to enemy attacking teams, and they so rarely think about it. So it might be a good bet for you. The final tip for factory that I'm going to give you is to use height to your advantage. There's a lot of spots on this map that you can just jump up on to look over an area and start shooting people. There really are some great spots and angles that give you a good coverage of the map and get you some cheeky kills every once in a while, whilst also protecting yourself from being too close to the enemy's close quarter combat areas. Therefore, I recommend you play around the height a little bit, whether that be up in heaven, whether that be jumping up on the B site box itself, or whether it be sitting on white van. All of these places can be really good at helping you get a few pot shots off, or maybe even get some kills that the enemy team aren't expecting, whilst also giving yourself a little bit of protection because they're pretty good covered spots, because you can simply roll off of them back to the low ground. That's going to be my guide for factory though, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure you drop a like and subscribe. You can also come follow me on twitch.tv/RADTHARGAMING, see live gameplay commentaries, also on Instagram, TikTok, and have a second channel, More Radthar, all linked in the description below. For now though, guys, I hope you have a fantastic day, and as always, remember, be loyal, be brave, be relentless. I'll catch you in the next video.